All right, well, here we are making our vase number 2. Step 1 is to make an extremely thick slab, probably 3 times thicker than you would have made your first vase, which was our cylinder vase. I've sped this video up a bit. It went from 25 minutes to 5, so we'll see if I got all the info in there. If you remember from making our first vase, we have a tube. We are wrapping our clay around the tube, and we're putting on a base. This, however, is an extremely thick slab, and I think even the one that you can see here, I'm gonna make one in class. I think I'll make it even thicker than this. So I'm starting off the exact same way we'd made vase 1, hiding the seam where my clay connects, so you cannot tell where it was connected. I'm using any wooden tools with a flat side. You can even just use the side of this rounded tool I have, could be a pencil even, to hide that seam. And just like with vase number 1, it needs a base because it's a vase. So here's a circle base. I'm gonna attach. And now we have the same thing that we started with for our first vase, except this one needs to be extremely thick clay. We're gonna cut into it and flatten it. And if it's not thick, you'll poke through your walls of your vase. So after we make it day 1, we wrap it up. We let it sit out for an hour and then we wrap it up for day 2. Now it should be harder clay. It's still dark gray, so it hasn't fully dried. But I can tell mine is really, really sturdy. Mine might be a little too hard. Now you're gonna go into your kitchen and find anything that is flat, has a flat side, like a handle with a flat side. So if you find a knife, a butter knife, turn it around and use the flat side of it. You're just gonna start on one part of your vase and drag straight down. Take your time with this. You have to drag slowly and slowly shave off a flat side of your vase. The top and the bottom don't come off as easily as the center. So pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want to accidentally shave through the middle so much that it pops a hole through. Also, you can get an X-Acto or a knife and cut the extra little bits that form on the very bottom and the very top. So you can just slice those off. I am going to cut the top of my vase at the end because the very, very top edge is going to get all funky and weird. So even though I'm cutting it with an X-Acto knife right now, I know, because I've already made this video, the top's gonna look ugly, so you'll see it in a minute. Now I'm flipping it over. I need to make sure the bottom is the same straightness, evenness as the middle. Take your time. You don't have to do all of this in one class period. This takes a while. So this isn't perfect. It takes a very long time. I'm now on to my next little flat edge that I'm going to try to make. If you start to do this and all of your clay gets bent, it means your clay is too soft. So you just need to wait till it's a little harder, which means let it sit out, let the air touch it, hit it maybe 30 minutes, and then you can bag it if you ran out of time for class and do it the next day, or you can start again. So I'm gonna fast forward here so you don't have to watch all 6 sides. And now you should be able to see when you look at the bottom how the sides are starting to be more geometric and we don't have a cylinder. The top, as you can see, it's very bumpy. It's not that perfectly straight. It's hard to get the top and the bottom perfectly straight. So I'm just going to cut off with an X-Acto knife the extra. I made an extremely tall vase, so I knew I could leave a little extra space to cut off at the end. So make sure your vase is taller than you want it to be so you can get rid of some of this clay. And now after I cut this, it should be pretty easy to see how smooth it is, and I shouldn't need to do too much else to it. The top should look nice and even. So depending on what you want your design to look like, you can do lots of different things. You can have more sides that are flatter. You can try to have less. It's a little more challenging. You can add pieces of clay. Here's that little extra piece I just cut off. You can cut into your clay, so I'm just going to use this as an example. So let's say I want to have thinner lines or more details. You could take your knife that you're using and you can shave off corners, you can shave down edges, you can cut the top and the bottom at an angle like this. You could cut the into the sides, so I'll do that in a second. Here I am, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, just hold it at a 45-degree angle, and cut into the side. Now you do not want to cut through your clay, so this is another reason we have a really thick slab that we made our vase with. So this is a 45-degree angle slice, and then I flip it over and do the same thing. And that should just peel right out. And now that's even a more interesting detail to add. So I could have put that all the way around my vase maybe if I wanted to. It's hard to practice ahead of time on these because you need to have hard clay. And we don't want to waste our clay. So if we practice, it would be on soft clay. So we're not probably going to practice. We just need to go for it after we made our vase. Another thing I noticed is a lot of students like to have the ideas of gems that are not symmetrical. They have cuts, flat cuts here and there, all different shapes and sizes. And you can do that too. You would just take a knife, cut a chunk off like this, and keep cutting. Make sure some are small, some are medium, some are large. Scatter them around in different areas. And that's a really cool look at the end. I'm going to do this to my vase in class that I make with you during class. And then I'm going to make little tiny crystal shapes that I stick around for design. So that's going to be my idea. But I just wanted to show you how you can make a symmetrical vase that's geometric. All right, good luck and let me know if you have questions.